all of you.
Good afternoon. Where have you come from? Are you in Delhi or are you in Hyderabad?
Madam, I stay in Hyderabad, madam.
No, at the moment, where are you?
At the moment, I am in Hyderabad, madam.
Okay, fine. How are things in Hyderabad? What's the
Uh,
COVID situation in Hyderabad?
Madam, in Hyderabad, the majority of the cases in Telangana are currently coming from Hyderabad, madam. And there have been hotspots which have been identified in Hyderabad. And
What was the tally today?
uh, I'm sorry, madam, I was not able to.
I said, what was the tally today? How many new
Uh,
COVID cases
Madam,
today, and
overall,
how many people died, if any?
Madam, overall, there are 4,000 cases from the state, madam,
No,
especially
today.
and yes,
Today.
madam. Today,
Hmm.
today, madam, 4,000 cases.
New
Sorry,
cases.
madam. I'm speaking about the yesterday's cases, madam. I saw it in
Okay.
today's newspaper, and
Okay.
unfortunately, there have been 14 deaths which have been
Okay.
registered from the
Sorry
state,
to hear
madam.
that. And in Hyderabad?
Madam, in Hyderabad, I'm not aware of the exact figures, but around 75% of the cases in Telangana are coming from Hyderabad, madam.
Okay. You are a BTech in computer science,
Yes, madam.
right? And
Yes,
you studied in the IIT, which is such a prestigious institute. And
madam.
after doing all that, you want to leave your very coveted seat, which you took in the IIT, and join the civil service. How will you justify that?
Madam. Uh, Madam, I think whatever I've learned from IIT is not just in the engineering aspect, not just in the engineering aspect, but overall 360 degrees development which have been, which have experienced from the IITs, madam. Whether it is in the some of the leadership positions which I was willing to take part in, and for example, I was the cultural secretary of the student body, madam, and
That I saw.
also,
No,
madam,
what I'm asking you is this, that getting into IIT means you have taken one of the few very coveted seats,
madam,
which might have gone to someone else who would like to pursue an engineering profession. So you're
yes, madam,
giving up that for the civil service. How do you
madam,
justify that?
madam. Uh, Madam, I would not say I'm giving up the coveted seat or the experience which I've got from the IIT, because from the IIT, whatever I've learned, whether it is in engineering, madam, especially, I learned to build, design, rebuild, find loopholes. These are the main aspects in the engineering, madam, which in essentially will be useful in administration as well. And I think this experience will be there with me wherever, in whichever field I go. So I think this experience which I'm carrying from the IIT would justify my seat in the IIT also, madam.
Okay.
I think this
You
is
worked in your
my
field for
opinion on it.
some time. You worked in the field of software development for some time, but you gave it up. You gave it up after some
Yes, yes,
time.
madam. I work,
Why?
madam. Madam, I was working as a software developer in Flipkart till 2018, madam. But in
Mhm.
2018, I met one of my friends from college who has cleared the UPSC Civil Services examination. And
Mhm.
personally, I have seen a tremendous change in him, madam. Especially the way he's approaching a problem, or the way he's thinking about a solution. So I wanted this change for myself also, madam. So that is when I started preparing for UPSC Civil Services. But after 6 to 7 months, after I went into the preparation, I realized this is not just about clearing the examination, but also utilizing whatever we have learned during this preparation in the administration, or wherever, whichever post I will get, if I get into it, madam.
Right. Um, in your hobbies, you have mentioned your interest in hip hop music and rap music. How do you develop this interest? I found it very interesting.
Madam, thank you for your words, madam. It is indeed interesting, and I personally developed this interest because usually rap and hip hop music contains a lot of English language, madam. And I in my pursuit of learning vocabulary, I found that there are a lot of words which are in popular usage, and also there is a lot of poetic innovation going in hip hop music, madam. So this has
Okay.
initially attracted me towards the music,
And
but
this freeze,
also the music element and
the dance that goes with the
madam.
freestyle
Sorry.
dancing. Freestyle dancing also you mentioned.
Yes, madam.
You do it?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes, madam. I mean,
You have a club or something where
what
you
I
do it?
find.
How do you do it? I mean, you have a group
No,
of
madam.
friends?
Actually,
No, how do you pursue this
madam,
hobby? I
I
just
do
want
it.
to.
Madam, I usually do it alone, madam, because I like it. I used to perform in college also with the teams, but currently, as of now, today, I do it alone at my home, madam. Whenever I feel like dancing, because I dance when I want to express my joy. So, and also, if I find an interesting step, if interesting dance step going viral on YouTube, I also would want to learn that particular step, madam. So, in this way, I do it in my room alone personally, man. So,
Right. Thank you. Okay, let's come back to your district. You are from the district of, you live in Hyderabad, Hyderabad proper.
yes, madam. Yes,
Okay,
madam.
what are the three
But
major
but
problems of
originally I'm from.
Hyderabad's? Pardon? Are you familiar with
I'm sorry,
Hyderabad?
madam.
Sorry,
I'm
you have
sorry,
been
madam. I
living
was
in
saying
Hyderabad.
I've been living in Hyderabad since the last few years. But originally I'm from Warangal and I studied there till my 10th standard, madam.
Okay, let's talk about Hyderabad. What do you think are the three
Madam.
major problem areas of Hyderabad?
Uh, Madam, the first problem I find and the challenge I find with the Hyderabad in future is regarding the increasing urbanization towards Hyderabad, madam. Because
Mhm.
currently, out of the 3.5 crores population in Telangana, almost more than 1 crore of the population currently lives in Hyderabad. And
Okay,
due to this congestion, there has been an increase in the there has been a challenge in maintaining the sanitation, the cleanliness, and also the maintenance aspects of Hyderabad, madam. And this has indeed resulted in one of the unfortunate events of urban floods last year also. And this urbanization is one of the major problem, madam. And another issue I see with Hyderabad is with the locales or locality where urban poor is currently living here in Hyderabad, madam. It is known from some of the sources that there are more than 400 to 500 slum areas distributed around Hyderabad, and I think there is an urgent need, especially given the current situation demanding hygiene. I think a good rehabilitation measures need to be taken in Hyderabad to rehabilitate people who are living in such harsh
okay.
conditions.
Anyway, thank you. I asked only for the problems. You've given me the solutions also. So,
Sorry,
isn't
madam.
transport one of the major bottlenecks of Hyderabad city?
Madam, yes, madam. Definitely, transport is also one of the issues currently Hyderabad is dealing with, especially the traffic congestion issue, because a lot of vehicles have moved into Hyderabad every day, and this is resulting into traffic congestion. And the state government is taking some measures to tackle such issues, madam.
Okay. What is the status of women in Hyderabad?
Madam. Uh, Madam, in work wise, especially, I see increasing participation of women, especially from the city in
Mhm.
various industries. But, madam, personally, I have seen that the levels of patriarchy and such issues of in which have been there in the minds of the people uh, for inequality towards women have been continuing in Hyderabad as well as the state, madam. So even though opportunities are coming for the women, this patriarchal nature is trying not to let them move towards those opportunities is what I find, madam.
What's the literacy rate now in Hyderabad for women?
Madam, it is, if I remember it right, madam, it is around 66 to 67%, madam.
For women?
Not for women, madam, overall. For women, it is less than 66, it is around 58 to 60%, madam.
Why is that so low?
Madam, one of the reasons why this literacy rate is very low is especially in the in the poor households. If there is enough, if there is not enough money to send a child to home, there is a preferred choice of sending male childs to schools, but not girls childs, madam, girl child, madam, and this has resulted in deprivation of education for the girl child, and also due to some of the safety issues, even if the girl child is educated, when it comes to employment, the girl child herself, the woman herself, as well as the family is not willing to let them go for work or such opportunities given the safety considerations. So these are
But
some of the,
you're familiar with the new education policy?
madam. Yes, madam, I'm familiar with them.
No, under that, isn't it compulsory for all school-going children to be in school? And what is being
Yes,
done by your state for this?
madam. Madam, especially in Telangana, most of the poor and vulnerable sections and the women come from the SCs, STs, and the OBCs, madam, because 83%, more than 80% of the state is comprised of these sections, madam, and the state government, especially the social welfare, the SC/ST social welfare department, has set up hostels and residential schools which are of very high quality compared to many other states, madam, and the such a model is also has also gotten praise from multiple sections, and they are trying to encourage free education for the girl child, and also trying to increase confidence in them, madam. For example, in such schools there is also a method of horse training being provided for a girl child, so that at the young age itself she is able to come out of such fear, and she is able to gain such confidence that if I am able to ride a horse, I will in such an at such a young age I'll be able to do much more when I grow up.
No,
So
that
I
is all
think,
very good, but what I'm surprised at, that with all these policies, yet the
madam,
literacy rate for women is so low. How do you
madam,
explain that?
madam, is the literacy rate is quite low, but these policies, such a program and other enhancement in the education has happened after the 2010s, madam, especially these are started around 2013, and I think it would take some time for us to reach a good level, and also we are targeting on the younger population right now, madam,
Okay.
and
What
I
about the
think
health indicators? Health indicators of women.
madam. Madam, I'm sorry, I'm not aware of the indicators of the health of the woman, madam, but especially there is a prevalence of anemia among women in rural areas because there is lack of enough intake of nutritious food for the women, and this has resulted into complications during pregnancy as well as complications of the child after birth.
Right. And what is the sex ratio in Hyderabad?
I'm sorry, madam, I'm not aware of the
Right.
figures. Not able to
Okay,
recollect.
Mr. Nambiar.
Oh, well, Mr. Saumitraju, this is, it's, you, as you said, as uh,
Sir.
you've been asked earlier, what causes your, moving into from the IIT to the services.
Sure.
Do you have any role model or has somebody particularly inspired you in the services? What has been the impact of individual persons, leaders, bureaucratic leaders? Can you explain some of the ones who particularly inspired you?
Sir. Uh, Sir, yes, sir. There are two people I consider my inspiration, and one person. The first inspiration is definitely my friend who has cleared the examination, sir. Because I have personally met him and I personally interact with him, and I found a tremendous change in his approach and behavior, and I think that has attracted me towards here. And another inspiration, sir, is a bureaucrat, an IPS officer named Dr. G.S. Praveen Kumar, sir, who is currently heading the social welfare, who is the current social welfare secretary of the Telangana state government, who is leading the schools which have the residential schools which I've talked about, sir. So he has come from a very poor and vulnerable background. He faced many issues, and today he is trying to give back to the same sections of the people who is suffering in the same ways which he did. So I think these two are the people who I take inspiration from, sir.
As you go along more and more into the e-governance, do you see that
Yeah.
as, in a sense, taking away from the human sort of compassion kind of that people can provide for administration? It becomes a faceless administration.
Sir.
How do you see that with the growing digitalization of procedures
Sir.
and process?
Sir. Sir, yes, sir. Due to e-governance, there has been a reduced interaction between the uh, human form of the government as well as the people, sir. But with the current levels of e-governance, I think even though what I feel is a good way to go about this is whichever places where there is a lot of scope for discretion, that those aspects can go into the e-governance sector. But where there is a need for the human interaction and there is a need for empathy to be displayed by the officers, that aspect can be taken care by the
That's not very
officers is
clear,
what.
because when you say discretion, actually it's when
Sir.
you need empathy that you need discretion too. So when you very often it is that those areas, and then that also attracts allegations of favoritism and political this thing. So where can you make that distinction, and can an officer really steer clear of that?
Sir. Sir, what I meant by empathy there is not where there is a decision which has to be taken, but empathy of the officer. If a certain person does not understand how to work with the e-governance with the new models, so helping them in understanding those models and helping them to accommodate an engagement with the e-governance platform is what I meant by empathy, sir.
Okay.
But the major decisions I would say should be where there is a enough power of discretion that should go to the computers is what I believe, sir.
Okay. Now coming to your second choice is the foreign service. How do you
Sir.
see India's foreign policy in the context of the latest discussions with vis-a-vis India's relations with the US, India's relations with Russia, and the deteriorating relations with China? How would you say, is there been a sea change? You think that there will be a diametrical change in India's policy from the earlier policies, or do you think that we will remain basically on the same anchor?
Sir. Sir, India's foreign policy recently has changed according to the geopolitical scenario, sir. And currently, the current geopolitical scenario shows that there is an increasing polarization between the two new blocks, sir. with the current situation, there are indicators of a new Cold War which is brewing, which is going to brew in the world, sir. So there is a US bloc, and there is also a Chinese led bloc, not the type of blocks which we have seen during the old Cold War era, but blocks of influence where in the Chinese bloc we have Iran and Pakistan, sir. So I think India's foreign policy currently has moved from a way of non-alignment towards multi-alignment, sir, where we need for example, sir, if in the our interest also lies in the climate change. So in such an aspect, we need to partner with China and many developing countries so that we ensure climate justice. And in the other aspect, sir, if we look at the security aspect of maritime, the new Indo-Pacific scenario, there we are needing the help of US and other democracies, sir. So I think in this way there is a balancing act which we are doing, and there is a multi alignment which we are going according to our issues, sir.
Does this mean that we give up our strategic autonomy?
Sir, I do not think this means we are giving up our strategic autonomy, because the ability to choose our own partnerships according to our needs in each aspect, that itself shows that we are strong enough in our strategic autonomy, sir. Although there has been a challenge from the US and other major powers while we are trying to balance some of the countries like Iran. But however, largely we have been able to maintain our strategic autonomy, is what I think, sir.
So is this what you think the foreign minister, the external affairs minister meant when he said we shed the Delhi dogmas?
Yes, sir. I think when he meant we should shed the Delhi dogmas, I think he's trying to talk about the way India has not been able to choose partners according to her needs in previous years, and right now India has come out of that dogma, and it wants to choose partners according to its needs in different areas.
But we've had a historic relationship with Russia. Why is it today that we can't, we are now talking about resetting our relations with Russia? Does it mean that we're going to decide that Russia has now gone into the arms of the Chinese, and therefore we should change our attitude towards Russia?
Sir, this historic friendship with Russia, especially, which have been there with us through thick and thin, sir. And I think currently the Russia is forming a Russia-China axis, which is currently taking shape, because Russia has many interests when it comes to China, sir. Especially if it is a border issue, and they have to settle their borders, and also
They've already settled
the
it.
increasing.
They've already settled it. They have an agreement on the border with China.
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I was not aware of it. I should update my knowledge on that, sir. And sir, because of the USA also, sir, because USA is currently trying to target both Russia and China, especially in its after Joe Biden has come to power, he has also spoken about Russia, and so Russia has its own interests while dealing in the geopolitical scenario, sir. But I think it still thinks India as is a valuable partner, and I think in order to engage this friendship for more time, I think if we engage not just in the defense sector but increase people to people ties, and also improve our trade ties, it will not be easy to come out of this relationship, and we will make it bound, and we will bind this relationship, is what I think, sir. So I think we should try to, sir.
Oh, okay. No, you go ahead. We should try.
So we should try to engage more in other sectors, for example, technology and travel, people to people ties, or even employment. So I think in this way, if there are more strings attached between Russia and India, even though Russia goes closer to China or any other country, it would be hard to decouple with Russia, and we will remain friends, is what I believe.
So do you think this will mean, therefore, will this impact on our India's participation in institutions like the BRICS and the SCO?
Sir, whatever happens in bilateral relationships has definitely has some impact in these minilateral organizations, sir. But I think each of these minilateral organizations are set up for a specific purpose. For example, I think we cannot compare Quad and SEO because Quad is set up for a different purpose for the security of Indo-Pacific, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization has a different purpose in itself, sir, because the main purpose from my understanding of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is to tackle the threat of terrorism in the Central Asian regions and also to engage more economically, sir. So I think each of these groupings are different in themselves and we should encourage all these groupings, sir.
We've been talking on a very broad terms about the Quad. We are not, I was talking about the Quad, we are talking in very broad terms. There are 10 areas of Quad cooperation, and it's not really only the security. And it's much more open. India's conception is a very open kind of a relationship there, contrary to perhaps even not entirely the same as perhaps even what the United States may officially be saying. But at the same
Yes.
time, that differences people can understand. But do you think that on the whole, this will add to our overall image internationally within the UN as well as in Africa?
Sure.
You think it will, or will it?
Sir, I definitely think it will, sir, because India's vision of Quad is inclusive and it is drastically different compared to USA's vision of Quad, like you said, sir, because USA looks at Quad as an exclusive grouping, primarily targeted towards the aggression of China, sir, but India wants to take Quad and wants to keep it open to any country which wants to ensure security in the Indo-Pacific region, sir. So I think this vision of a inclusive grouping is what would help us in getting our name better in the UN as well as other multilateral organizations.
And do you think that this will eventually add to our to the support, even though the support which India has had so far from Russia, and at least in Russia, on permanent membership? Do you think that is going to be a reasonable expectation soon?
Sir, in my personal opinion, sir, although we should try for the permanent council seat right now, and there it might not hamper because Russia has not changed its stand on India's membership in the P5, sir, and we have support from other countries as well, like France and USA. But currently, in my opinion, sir, I think rather than targeting the membership in permanent council, we should focus more on the reformation of these multilateral organizations. And there are many other ways as well where we are trying to use our economic and political clout in the world. And we might not need this permanent council so much as we think we need it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Nair. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank
Soumit,
Sir.
you experienced life through a very prolonged lockdown last year, didn't you?
Sir. Sir, yes, sir.
How did this lockdown change your life, your views on life,
Sir.
views in the world? How did it change? What is the effect
Sure.
it had on you?
Sir. Sir, I think primarily, given the situation before lockdown, I think I have been taking the relationships which I had, the friendships which I had with my friends or even with my relatives. I've been taking them for granted, sir, so that I can meet them anytime I want. I can talk to them anytime I want, and this has not. But I realized that during lockdown, because there has been not much interaction with outsiders physically, I also myself felt a kind of loneliness during the lockdown, sir. And I think after this reflection, I think if I engage more with my friends and relatives, and also with general people around me, that I should not take it for granted, and I should value those relationships and meetings is what I think, sir. In this realization, I think this is the primary realization which I've got during the lockdown phases. What I think, sir.
Uh, did you see any of your friends, relations, or even yourself undergo a period of mental trauma or
Sure.
depression
Sure.
or inability to work physically? Did you see any such cases?
Sure. Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I was not able to hear properly. Did you ask me, have I seen any cases of such mental trauma, sir?
Yep.
Sir.
Mental
Sir,
trauma, depression.
thank you for the clarification, sir. Sir, I have seen a case in one of my friends, sir, but it was not as serious as I mean, it is not as much serious as a mental trauma, sir. But I think I definitely saw an interest in a losing of interest in talking to other people in him, and there has been a kind of small issues with his mental health is what I've observed in one of my friends, sir, during the lockdown.
So, how did you spend time during the lockdown?
So, sir, during lockdown, sir, I have attended UPSC interview last time just before the lockdown, and during the lockdown I was mainly waiting for the results, and apart from anticipating for the results, I thought I should not go into this anticipatory mode, and I should learn something. So what I did is I started learning how to make music, sir, some of the basic things, electronic music especially. So I explored my interest in that aspect, and I also uh, talked a lot on phone with my friends and my well-wishers, and and sir, apart from that, I also made short funny videos, so that short funny animation videos, so that even other people can enjoy and appreciate my effort there, sir. So
So, did you read any book that influenced you in any
sir,
manner during this period?
sir, no, sir, I haven't read any book. I haven't finished any book, but I started one book called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, sir. I started it, but I haven't finished that book in lockdown, sir.
Samit, what's your view on the impact of AI on our lives
Sir,
now and in future?
sir. Sir, the artificial intelligence, essentially this whole concept, what it is trying to do, according to my understanding, sir, is that it is trying to take it is trying to do the same work which humans have been doing for multiple ages, and it is trying to take over those kind of works which are predictable and which are repetitive, sir. So I think for some of us, not all the humans, but some of us who are comfortably well off and who are well prepared for this challenge, we will be, those of us will be, will I think will get a better lifestyle due to AI, sir, because AI will take some of the mundane tasks which we perform regularly. But I think for others, sir, whose livelihood is dependent on such repetitive and predictable tasks, there is a challenge for their jobs due to AI, sir.
In your case, I presume, I take it you're relatively well off. How is AI going to benefit you in your daily life?
Sir. Sir, for me personally, sir, I think AI in the near future, sir, AI will be able to help me in all aspects, sir. Whether it is in the education scenario, if I want good recommendations of what courses I need to take, or what kind of path I need to take to learn something, I think AI would be able to give me better recommendations, sir. And also even in the health sector, sir, tomorrow, after the advent of AI completely, I won't be needing to go to a doctor in person to have a checkup. The AI robot, along with the software inside it, will be able to will be able to diagnose me at my home itself. And I think if I am well prepared in my job to tackle the problem of AI, I think I should be benefiting from AI for me personally, sir, in these ways.
One of the issues today is unemployment, isn't it?
Sir,
Major
sir,
issue.
yes, sir,
One of the some of the studies indicate that AI will render almost 40% of the employment force redundant. This is going to cause
sir,
massive sociological and economic impact, isn't it, on the population
sir,
of the country?
yes, sir,
Do you see any alternative
sir,
to this job loss?
sir,
What is a scenario, alternate scenario that you foresee?
sir,
Because this is something that's really going to impact your generation.
sir, yes, sir. Sir, I think, sir, if AI, what AI is essentially trying to do, like you said, is trying to take away these redundant jobs, sir, and predictable jobs. So I think in order for humans or those humans whose jobs are at risk due to AI, for them it is essential to upskill themselves with the latest technologies and how to co-live and cohabitate with the artificial intelligence. And also, sir, I was listening to one of the TED talks, and one interesting idea which I found here is that since they if you look at the theory of comparative advantage, sir, we will be well off if we do what we are good at. So I think humans who are especially good at creative thinking and also social relationships and also empathy, I think for AI cannot take over such aspects of life soon enough, sir. So I think if humans try to focus on those aspects of life, I think their jobs will be secure, sir. For example, if you allow me, I will try to explain it in with an example, sir.
Yep, sure, go ahead.
Sir, sir, I was thinking of an example of an Uber driver, sir. For example, tomorrow when self-driving cars come, these Uber drivers are at risk of losing their jobs. But if the Uber drivers concentrate on the human aspect of the job, that is to ensure the safety of the vehicle, so that even on Indian roads it does not go and hit anything which is not which is harmful. And also, if the Uber driver tries to engage with the customer and tries to understand him and have an empathetic conversation with him, that is something which the AI cannot provide as of now, sir. So I think if we focus on those kind of jobs, definitely we will be able to co-live with AI is what I'm hopeful of, sir.
Okay, just in continuation of what you said,
Sir,
how many of your friends are actually capable of what you mentioned, creative thinking?
sir,
How many?
sir. Sir, I believe every one of us and every one of my friends is capable of creative thinking, sir. It only depends on the intention of the person. For creative thinking, sir, I think we need to look at some of the examples, train ourselves, and try to put it in practice. In that way, I think every human is capable of creative thinking, sir. If we do such preparation beforehand,
Okay, thank you.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Samudraju, can you hear me?
Welcome to Vishnu IAS Academy. We are excited to announce the launch of our new courses. Contact us for registrations and counseling. Hard work never fails. Keep learning.
Yes, sir. I'm able to hear you, sir.
You have been to an interview earlier? To the UPSC?
Yes, sir. I've been to
UPSC.
UPSC interview, sir, in 2019. That is in 2020. That is last year, sir.
You did appear for the UPSC.
Yes, sir. I appeared for UPSC interview,
Oh, what went wrong?
sir. Sir, in retrospect, I think primarily I was not well prepared, sir. That was one of the reasons. And also, sir, even I had to change a few aspects in my personality also, sir, because at that point of time, I was very tensed and nervous as well. And also, I was not able to take some time and think before answering to a question, sir. So hopefully, I think this time I've tried to change those aspects, and I'm hopeful this time I'll do better than next time, sir.
You have attended or joined some other mock interview or fake interview like this? Have you? Or
Sir, yes, sir. I have attended some of the mock interviews, sir.
where in Delhi or in
In Hyderabad, sir. In Hyderabad only, sir.
Hyderabad? What do you think is the main difference between these different kind of interview processes? Or they are all the same?
Sir. Sir, there while the discussions and the topics are remaining not just the topics, the way we are discussing is remaining the same, sir. But I think one aspect which I think would be better in a physical interview is that you will be also able to look at my complete body language, and will also be able to judge on those aspects is what I think, sir. But I think with given your experience, you have already been able to do it to some extent, even through video, sir. So I think that is not a big issue, is what I think, sir.
So the you have attended the face-to-face interviews also last year.
Yes, sir. I have attended face-to-face interviews also, sir.
So that again makes a difference.
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I was not
A face-to-face interview and an interview on the line, they are different, aren't they?
Sure.
You benefit.
Yes, sir. They are different in some aspects.
Okay, anyway, that is the way of life. Now you can't.
Sorry, there was a disturbance in the network, sir.
Okay. Now tell me.
Sir, I think personally, as you asked the question, we found out one of the reasons why there is a difficulty in such online interviews, sir. That is because if there is no good connection. So I think that is one of the aspects which we ourselves experience right now.
Okay, very good.
Good one.
And on the, I mean, experience being gained every moment, isn't it? Okay, tell us, what do you think India
Sir,
should do?
my sincere apologies, sir, but the volume is quite less, sir.
I see you
sorry.
can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, but I'm able to hear you a little faintly, sir. Not strong enough.
I see.
Do you have earphones, Thomas? If you do, just use them.
Sir, sure, sir. Please give me just 2 minutes, sir. I'll try to.
Go ahead, do it.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
Yeah. What are the choices for an educated young man for employment in this country now? There are hundreds of thousands of engineers, at least thousands of doctors, large number of MBAs and graduates, postgraduates. What are the avenues of employment opportunities for these large people, large number of people?
Sir. Sir, from my understanding, sir, I think there are a lot of avenues for a well-educated young man, sir. But the problem with the current education is that although people are able to get the education, the skilling is not up to the mark, sir. So if the current young population is able to skill itself to a good extent, I think the avenues are.
Sorry, just let me intervene. I'm talking about the problem which the current generation of educated and unemployed are facing. We're not talking about skilling, which has not happened. Now, what are the
Sure.
problems? What are the avenues, first of all? Say, for instance, for an engineering graduate,
Sure.
what are the avenues open?
Sure. Sir, I think for an engineering graduate, sir, if the avenues are especially in what specialization the engineering graduate has done in that particular aspect, if there are good amount of avenues, sir. For example, if we take a computer science engineer, there are many IT jobs which have come in uh, the country today, sir, and we are very strong in the services sector, and I think that the services sector has enough space for these kind of people to accommodate, sir. But although even if there is not enough space in that particular aspect of an engineer in that in the very specialization which he has done, there are many other areas where an engineer given his skills to build and design something. Essentially engineers are known to build, design, and rebuild those systems, sir. So
Do
I
you
think
think
with
that
this knowledge,
do you think that is
they'll be
happening?
able to get
Huh?
into any things, sir.
Do you think that is happening? We can theoretically, conceptually say that, but does it
Sure.
happen?
Sir, it is happening to a good extent, sir. But I am also worried that it is not happening to the extent which it is needed, that is why we are not able to completely employ all of our graduates as of now, sir.
You mentioned the word skilling. What do you mean by that?
So, sir, by skilling, what I mean is any job which needs a specialization. Uh, if a person is trained on how to do the specialized jobs instead of a generic job. For example, sir, even a mason, given his skill, he given the current amount of new products which are coming into the into the country today. So even a mason has in a construction sector needs skilling so that he should be able to work with this new type of construction methods and new kind of bricks which are coming into the construction sector. So by that example,
How can this skilling be done? You have your government or private institutions or the industries which employ people. They have to recruit people and upgrade their skills. What are the methods in which it can be done?
sir, I personally feel skilling has to be a continuous process, sir. Right from our education, even while we are learning, the particular person in the particular person who wants to get skilled has to skill himself even while he is employed also, sir. Because in the current world, things are changing so fast, and people are there is a demand for people who are having these skills. So I think with the even the current new education policy which was released in 2020 has also mentioned about vocational education, sir. So that also has a component of skilling, because a student is able to skill himself in his area of interest even while he is getting educated. So I think right from that age to till the retirement, and even after retirement also, I think skilling is necessary, sir.
Amit, what do you think your own education, the way in which you got educated, the way you are now,
Sure.
and the chances
Sure.
of your employment outside the IAS or outside
Sure.
the civil services? You think you
Sure.
have chances of employment? Are they bright? Or you will also join a large number of people who are seeking employment? You put yourself into
Sure.
that position and think, what is your response to?
Sir, fortunately, given the experience which I had after college in one of the e-commerce companies, sir, I worked at Flipkart for around more than 1 year, sir. And currently also I'm employed in one of the startups, sir. I joined a startup called X to 10X,
Yeah.
which is based out of Bangalore after giving my mains this year, sir. So I think given the experience and my confidence in my abilities, sir, even in the IT sector, I think I'll be able to get a good opportunity to work for any
Very, very
organization.
good. You know, people like
Sure.
people like you or young people like you,
Sure.
do you get these opportunities? Or it's only a good fortune that you got it?
Sir, I think the opportunities which I have today is not just because I have put my own work, but it is also because I was born into this particular family which I also have, sir. Because I was privileged to get such a good education from a young age, and I was I was privileged to get the support of my parents as well during my education. And unfortunately, not many young people in the country like me have that privilege, and they are deprived of that particular aspect, sir.
No,
So
that's,
I think there is inequality in this aspect, sir.
when you talked about inequality, you know what is the level of poverty in India? Approximate, some kind of not number, percentage, or whatever,
Sir.
even you can describe.
Sir, it is around 25 to 30% if I remember it right, sir.
Well,
I'm
anyway,
sorry, I'm
whatever it
not.
is, 25 or 30, it doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, India is a poor country, is that right? India is a country.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Inhabited
A
by
large number of
Huh?
Sir, yes, sir. A large number of people in India are poor, sir. In that way, if we can call India a poorer country, sir, on the path of development.
Now, the kind of things that we are doing, which you are doing as a part of a company, which other people are doing, government is doing, do these activities contribute to the reduction of poverty in India?
Sir, yes, sir. I think definitely whatever the government is doing, and people like me are also aspiring to be part of the government.
Yeah.
I think we are already on path of bringing people out of poverty, sir, because we have seen that since 1991, after the LPG reforms, and since
Yeah.
especially since the 2000s, sir, till 2020, until the pandemic hit us, we were able to bring many people out of the poverty, sir. Not as much as compared our part of the job, along with giving freedom, sir, which China has not been able to do.
That's good. What you said is right. We have been bringing out of the or above the poverty line larger number of people, although the number is not good enough considering the vast majority, vast numbers that we have below the poverty line. Now, can you suggest, not only suggest, can you think of some measures which have been taken consciously with the idea of bringing people out of the or above the poverty line?
Sir.
Some schemes of the government or private initiative?
Sir. Sir, I can think of a few schemes, sir, of the government, especially the government of India, sir.
Yes.
The government of India has come up with a restructured form of this Swarna Jayanti Gran Swarozgar Yojana as
What
a
is it?
national. Sorry, sir.
Say it again.
Sir, it was
Swarna
government has
Jayanti?
restructured Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana into Deen Dayal Upadhyaya National Rural Livelihoods Mission, sir. So I think it targets the people in the rural areas, especially the women, and encourage them to go towards self-employment through the model of self-help groups, sir. So this is one aspect of bringing people out of poverty through giving jobs. But there are other aspects as well which help people to not let them fall into poverty, sir. For example, an initiative like Ayushman Bharat, which is promising insurance of 5 lakhs per family, today has helped many people during the COVID situation to not let them fall into poverty, sir. So in this way, we are trying to bring people from the poverty line, above the poverty line, as well as prevent people who have already who has already made
Graduate.
some effort. And yes, sir.
Fair enough, that is a good point that you make. Can you think of any suggestions? You are an engineer, you have some working background of creating some employment opportunities. Not going as a seeker of employment, but would you ever think in terms of doing something, taking up some activity which will generate employment?
Sir. Sir, in my personal opinion, sir, employment generation is not attracting so many people in the country, because generating employment is a risk, sir, and is a risky factor. And since not many people in the country, especially the students, since childhood have been trained not to take risks, and there is a fear of failure. So I think this is what is stopping us from taking risks and trying to create more startups and encouraging employment. So I think if we encourage failure, sir, if we also reward failure in a way, for example, a person has tried to put a startup and that startup has failed, instead of shaming that person and blaming him, so that so many people have lost the jobs in the startups, if we encourage and reward the failure as well, I think more and more people will be coming to take this risk and generate more employment, sir.
Okay, one final question. Considering all what is happening, all what you know about the schemes of the government, activities which are being undertaken, do you think that by and large the country is moving in the right direction? In the direction of reducing poverty, reducing unemployment and giving a better living condition to the people? Do you think the country is moving in the right direction, or are we not?
Sir, I think definitely the country is moving in the right direction, sir. Because it has come up with so many programs which are very innovative, and also which are a lot of thought went behind the designing of these programs, is what I think, sir. Country is definitely in the right direction, but I also think if the implementation pace is increased, even we can improve our pace also, sir. The speed is what we need to improve in, but the direction is definitely in the right direction, sir.
Very good, thank you very much. Kiran ma'am, would you like to advise him?
Madam, I'm sorry, madam, I think you're, yeah.
I said, by and large, you're coming across as a very confident, well-informed young man. I think on most issues you had answers, and not that you have to have answers for everything. If you don't know a thing, you can always say you don't know. But I think on the social indicators and economic indicators of your own district and your state, you need to brush up. Since you have contacts in the government, get the state profile and the district profile and read up those facts and figures. The other tip which I wanted to give you was that after every question, you're pausing. You don't need to. There are certain things you can just straight away answer. You'll get a recording of your replies today. You'll notice that even for very simple questions, you're just taking your time. It's not a question answer thing. It has to be a discussion between you and the panelists. So this is coming across more like a question answer series. So don't pause at every stage. Let it flow a little more. Okay. That's it. Otherwise you'll do fine. Best of luck.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Similar,
Thank you, sir.
I think similar comment. You're quite articulate and very good. And some of the answers, as you said, even though you sort of paused a little too often, as Kiran has mentioned, I think you still have given deliberate answers which show that you have actually putting thought into answering each question. Now, I was a little impressed by the questions about your suggestions regarding, employability, employment, and this. There is a very interesting book which came about a few years back, 2 years back, called New Power, which talks about the alternative to unicorns. You know what unicorns are. you know,
Sure.
the new
Yes, sir.
startups which do very well. Now there is an alternative to that called camels. You know, camels are
Sure.
things which are not very spectacular, but which move to sustain and meet long-term requirements in a quiet and a very not very spectacular manner. That's a very interesting concept which I came across, which I thought I'd mention to you, which is
Sure.
this is the kind of thing which I think Mr. Nair was talking about. How you can, even where you're not getting into something spectacular and, you know, showing something dramatic, it does help sustain certain things over a slightly longer period. This is an interesting book called New Power, which talks about power, which is now slowly coming across this new, this kind of connected world now, where, you know, earlier power was seen as currency, which you kept to yourself, and you know, exerting power, it was like an elite exercising power. Now, to the young people now, power is like a current or like water. You have to share it and move it around. That's how, and it's it's, you know, given all over the place. It's not kept and given from the top down. It's actually flatter, more horizontal. That's the world that we are in today. Very interesting thing. I think you should probably read the book if you call. It's called New Power. It's by two people. It's called some Heinemann and Timms or something like that.
Sir.
All the
Thank you for
One
the
small
suggestions.
point I had, one more suggestion I had, you know, whenever any panelist asks you for your personal opinion, don't repeat that in my personal opinion. It is obviously yours, because since you've been asked to give your personal opinion, because a number of replies you'll notice in your recording later, you keep saying in my personal opinion. You don't have to repeat that. And the other thing you might need to read up on is this, what are the objectives of this skill development ministry, which has been set up by the government of India in the last 2-3 years.
Madam.
That spells out all those issues which we were talking about, skilling.
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Yeah. You came through as a thinking person. I thought it was a very nice, positive, big positive from you. There was an article in I think yesterday or day before's newspaper regarding the issues of AI. You know, the pluses and the minuses, and the huge minus being the huge displacement of the workforce,
Sure.
which is going to cause a lot of problems. We've had these problems earlier also, and typewriters came in, computers came in, displacement of traditional workforce. The challenge is how the displaced people will find new employment. I think you should just go through these articles on this issue. Okay?
Sure.
Otherwise, I thought you did well.
look, what was your optional subject?
Sir, it is political science and international relations.
Political science and international relations.
International relations.
Oh, I mean, that's an area, you know, in which any number of questions anybody can ask. I think it is you who said that
Sure.
you are interested in observing politics. Did you say that? Or I'm confusing between you and somebody
No, sir.
else.
I think
You
No,
didn't
that
say-
was the
No.
previous candidate,
Eh? That was the other person. Okay.
earlier person.
Yeah. Now,
Thank you.
current affairs should engage your attention in the coming few days. At some kind of, you know, capsules. There are competition, success, careers, all kinds of magazines which will give you in a very succinct form, you know, pieces of information on matters of current interest. You try to read them up, and as all of us feel, you are very confident. You have it in you to make it, and we wish you all the very best.
All the very best.
Read
Thank you very
the
much.
highlights of the budget, especially on the electric vehicles. They have a lot of issues to state on that.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
best of luck.
Okay.
You want to ask us anything?
Thank you very much, madam.
Okay, thank you.
You want to ask any
Sir,
questions?
Sir, madam, I would like to ask if it is okay with you. Generally, from your experience, how many marks you would give with this interaction?
I really won't preempt the final board on this issue. they have to take a call on it.
Yeah, okay, madam.
But you've done well.
Yes, ma'am.
No, you'll do all right, not to worry.
You've done well.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Don't
sir.
worry too much about that. You are doing well and you'll be
Confident.
You
on
have
well.
the confidence,
Very well.
you have the knowledge. Go for it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Also,
Thank you,
there is a
sir.
certain amount of luck involved in
Yes,
this
sir.
process. Huh? So hope that it will be in your favor. Then
Sir,
be
yes,
confident. Okay. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Right.